I've always been someone who enjoys driving at night. There's something calming about empty roads, distant headlights, and the quiet hum of the engine when the rest of the world is asleep. You feel alone in a good way. Like the night belongs only to you. That's how it felt the night this happened. I was driving home from my cousin's place, about 2.5 hours away. It was already past midnight, maybe closer to 1 in the morning. The kind of late where even the radio hosts sound tired, and the music feels slower than usual. The highway was almost completely empty. No traffic. No construction. Just long, dark stretches of road lit by the occasional streetlight that passed overhead and disappeared behind me. I remember thinking how peaceful it was. That thought didn't last very long. About 40 minutes into the drive, I noticed headlights behind me. That wasn't unusual. It was still a highway, after all. Cars come and go. But these headlights, they stayed. They weren't tailgating me. They weren't passing either. Just sitting there. Far enough back that I couldn't see the car clearly, but close enough that the lights filled my rearview mirror. I didn't think much of it at first. 10 minutes passed. Then 20. Same distance. Same position. I sped up a little. So did they. I slowed down. They matched it. That's when I started paying attention. I switched lanes, expecting them to keep going straight. Instead, they followed me into the next lane without hesitation. That made my stomach tighten a bit. Still, I told myself I was overthinking it. Maybe they were just heading the same way. Maybe I looked suspicious changing speeds and lanes. To calm myself down, I turned the radio up a little. That was when the signal cut out. The music dissolved into static, followed by a low, warbling noise that made my ears ring. I reached for the dial, twisting it slowly, but every station was the same. Just static. I glanced back at the headlights again. They looked closer now. Not dramatically closer, just enough that I noticed the difference. I told myself to stop being paranoid. But paranoia doesn't come from nowhere. A few minutes later, I saw an exit sign coming up. A gas station was listed, along with a small diner. I hadn't planned on stopping, but suddenly I wanted lights, people, something normal. I signaled and took the exit. The headlights followed. That's when the fear stopped being subtle. I pulled into the gas station parking lot. It was open, but barely alive, one car at a pump, the inside lights dim and yellowed. I parked near the entrance and waited. The car behind me pulled in too. But instead of parking, it stopped across the lot. The engine stayed running. The headlights stayed on. I sat there gripping the steering wheel, pretending to look at my phone while watching them from the corner of my eye. After about a minute, the car backed up and left. I exhaled so hard it felt like I'd been holding my breath for an hour. I waited another few minutes before going inside the station. The cashier barely looked up when I paid. I didn't mention anything. I didn't want to sound crazy. When I got back in my car and pulled out, the road was empty again. No headlights. No one behind me. I felt stupid for being scared. I merged back onto the highway and drove on. That's when I noticed something odd. My passenger seatbelt warning light was on. I looked down. The seat was empty. No bag. No jacket. Nothing heavy enough to trigger the sensor. I reached over and pressed the seat. The light turned off. I shrugged it off and kept driving. 10 minutes later, the warning light came back on. I didn't touch the seat this time. I just stared at it. The road ahead stretched into darkness. My headlights carved a narrow tunnel through the night, and beyond that, nothing. Then I heard it. A soft sound. Not a voice. Not breathing. Just the faint creak of fabric shifting. From inside my car. From the passenger seat. I froze. My hands tightened on the wheel as my heart started pounding so loudly I could hear it in my ears. Slowly, painfully slowly, I turned my head. The seat was still empty. But the seat belt was slightly pulled forward. Like someone had leaned toward the dashboard. I snapped my head back to the road. I didn't stop the car. I didn't slow down. I drove. I drove faster than I ever had before, ignoring the speedometer, ignoring the shaking in my hands, ignoring the quiet presence beside me that I refused to acknowledge. The next exit sign appeared ahead. I took it without signaling. As I turned off the highway, the pressure on the passenger seat vanished. The warning light turned off. I pulled over under a street light and sat there shaking for a long time. I checked the car. The back seat. The trunk. Nothing. I made it home that night. I didn't sleep. And I stopped enjoying night drives after that. Because sometimes, when I'm alone in my car late at night, I still feel it. The faint shift of weight. The sense that the ride was never empty to begin with. I used to drive overnight for work. It wasn't glamorous or exciting. I delivered medical equipment between cities, mostly long highway runs that started late in the evening and ended sometime just before sunrise. The pay was good, and I didn't mind the solitude. At least, I didn't, before this happened. This was about 4 years ago, during a winter shift. The roads were dry but cold, and the sky was completely clear. No fog. No rain. Just darkness stretching endlessly in every direction. I left the warehouse a little after 11 p.m. My route that night was simple, one straight highway, 3 major exits, and a final stretch through a small town before reaching the drop-off point. Nothing complicated. Nothing dangerous. About an hour into the drive, I started feeling that familiar late-night heaviness, not sleepy, but quiet. The kind where your thoughts slow down and the road almost hypnotizes you. That's when I saw him. At the first exit. I was still a good distance away when my headlights caught a figure standing near the sign. A man. Tall. Wearing what looked like a dark jacket and jeans. He wasn't hitchhiking exactly, his thumb wasn't out, but he was standing close enough to the road that it made me uncomfortable. People don't usually stand that close to highways at night. As I passed, he turned his head and looked directly at me. I remember that clearly. Even at highway speed, even in the dark, I felt his eyes follow the truck. I shook it off and kept driving. 10 minutes later, I saw the next exit sign coming up. And I felt that same tight feeling in my chest again. Because he was there too. Standing in almost the exact same position. Near the sign. Facing the road. Waiting. This time, I slowed down slightly as I passed. I told myself it had to be someone else. Different person. Same clothes. Same posture. Coincidence. But when he turned his head, I knew. It was the same man. Same height. Same jacket. Same way of standing perfectly still, like he had been placed there. No one could get from the first exit to the second that fast. Not on foot. Not even by car without passing me. I checked my mirrors. No vehicles behind me. The road was empty. My palms started to sweat against the steering wheel. I turned the radio on louder, trying to drown out the rising unease. The DJ was talking about weather forecasts and call-in requests, his voice oddly cheerful for the time of night. I focused on that. Told myself I was tired. Told myself my mind was playing tricks on me. But I couldn't stop glancing ahead now, watching for the next exit sign. When it appeared, my heart dropped. He was already there. This time, he was closer to the road. Close enough that if I drifted even a little, I would hit him. As I passed, he didn't turn his head right away. Instead, he took a step forward. Not into the road. Just closer. Like he was testing how near he could get. I felt my stomach twist. That exit led to a rest stop. I hadn't planned on stopping there, but suddenly I needed to. I needed lights. Cameras. Proof that this was real. I signaled and took the exit. The rest stop was nearly empty. A couple of parked cars. Bright fluorescent lights buzzing overhead. I pulled into a spot near the building and sat there for a moment, breathing slowly. I checked my mirrors. No one followed me off the highway. I got out of the truck and walked inside, splashing cold water on my face in the bathroom. I stared at myself in the mirror and laughed quietly, shaking my head. "You're just tired," I said out loud. When I came back outside, something made me stop. At the edge of the parking lot, near the entrance ramp back to the highway. He was standing there, watching me. This time, I saw his face clearly. It was pale. Too pale. His expression wasn't angry or threatening, it was blank. Empty. Like he wasn't fully present. He didn't move. Didn't wave. Didn't call out. He just stood there, waiting. I got back into the truck and locked the doors. My heart was pounding so hard it hurt. I didn't wait. I pulled out and got back on the highway as fast as I could. The road ahead was empty. No exits for a while. I started to calm down, telling myself it was over. Then my GPS spoke. "In 2 miles, take the exit on the right." I felt a cold chill crawl up my spine. When the exit came into view, I already knew what I would see. And I was right. He stood there again. But this time, he was smiling. Not wide. Not exaggerated. Just enough. I didn't look away as I passed him. And for the first time, he moved. He raised his hand. And pointed. Not at me. At the road ahead. I missed the exit on purpose. I kept driving, even though it wasn't part of my route. The GPS recalculated, its calm voice completely unaware of the terror filling the cab. "In 5 miles, take the next exit." My breathing became shallow. 5 miles passed. There was no exit. No sign. Nothing. The highway just kept going. The GPS repeated itself. "In 5 miles, take the next exit." Again and again. The road felt wrong now. Too quiet. Too empty. Like I'd driven into a place that wasn't meant to exist. Then I saw him, standing in the middle of the road ahead. I slammed on the brakes. The truck screeched to a stop. My headlights illuminated him fully. He looked different now. Closer. More solid. And when he spoke, his voice was low and calm, carried clearly through the closed windows. "You missed your stop." I didn't answer. I couldn't. He took a step forward. Then another. I threw the truck into reverse and floored it, not caring where I was going as long as it was away from him. The road behind me was suddenly familiar again. Street lights. Signs. Exits. I didn't stop until I reached my destination. I told my supervisor I quit the next morning. I don't drive highways at night anymore. And every now and then, when I pass an exit late in the evening, I swear I see someone standing there, waiting for someone else to miss their stop. I never believed in gut feelings until the night I ignored one. It was just after midnight when my phone buzzed. I was half asleep, the room lit only by the blue glow of the screen. The name on the display made me sit up immediately. My sister. We didn't talk often. Life got busy. Distance happened. So when she called that late, my first thought was that something was wrong. I answered, my voice still heavy with sleep. "Hey, everything okay?" There was a pause. Then she said, "Can you come get me?" Her voice sounded strained. Quiet. Like she didn't want anyone else to hear. "Where are you?" I asked. "I'm on Route 17. My car died." I tried calling roadside, but there's no signal. Route 17 was a long, winding road that cut through a heavily wooded area between towns. No houses. No businesses. Just trees, occasional pull-offs, and darkness. "I'll be there," I said without thinking. As I got dressed, that gut feeling crept in. A subtle sense of unease I couldn't explain. But she was my sister. I wasn't going to leave her stranded out there. The drive took about 30 minutes. The farther I went, the darker the road became. Street lights disappeared. Cell service dropped. My headlights carved narrow tunnels through dense trees on either side. I rolled down the window slightly, listening. No traffic. No insects. Just the low hum of my tires on the pavement. Then I saw her car. It was pulled off on the shoulder, hazard lights blinking weakly. I parked behind her and got out, calling her name. She was sitting in the passenger seat, door open. "I'm so glad you came," she said as I approached. She looked tired. Pale. But otherwise normal. "What happened?" I asked. "It just stopped," she said. "I didn't hear anything weird. It just died." We tried starting the car. Nothing. I offered to drive her home and come back for the car in the morning. She agreed. We got into my car, her in the passenger seat, me driving. As I pulled back onto the road, that gut feeling returned. Stronger this time. The road ahead stretched endlessly, my headlights barely touching the darkness beyond. We drove in silence for a few minutes. Then she spoke. "Do you remember when we were kids," she said, "and we used to count the yellow lines to stay awake on road trips?" I smiled slightly. "Yeah. Mom hated that." She laughed softly. The sound made my skin prickle. Something about it felt delayed. like it didn't match the expression on her face. I told myself I was imagining things. A few minutes later, I felt it. A shift. The car dipped slightly, like someone had moved their weight. I glanced at my sister. She was still facing forward, hands folded in her lap. The road behind us was empty. My heart started to race. I adjusted in my seat, trying to ignore the sensation. Then I heard it. A voice. Soft. Close. From behind me. Are we almost there? I froze. That wasn't my sister's voice. And it came from the back seat. My hands tightened on the steering wheel as my pulse hammered in my ears. I didn't turn around. I didn't answer. The silence that followed was heavy and thick, pressing in from all sides. My sister slowly turned her head to look at me. "What's wrong?" she asked. My mouth felt dry. "Did you hear that?" I asked. "Hear what?" I swallowed hard. "The voice," I said. "From the back seat." Her expression changed. Not to fear. To confusion. "There's no one back there," she said. I finally glanced in the rearview mirror. The back seat was empty. No movement. No shadows. Nothing. I forced myself to breathe. "Probably the radio," I muttered, even though it was off. We continued driving. The tension in the car was unbearable now. Every sound felt amplified, the turn signal, the engine, the faint rattle of something loose in the door. Then it spoke again. Closer this time. Right behind my head. "Why won't you look at me?" I felt a cold chill crawl up my spine. I slammed on the brakes. The car screeched to a stop. My sister grabbed the dashboard, startled. "What are you doing?" I threw the car into park and turned around. The back seat was still empty. But the air felt occupied. Like someone was there without being seen. I turned back to my sister. Her face had gone pale. "Did you hear that one?" I asked. She hesitated. Then she nodded. "It said, my name," she whispered. My blood ran cold. I put the car back in drive and sped up, my foot heavy on the gas. The road blurred as I pushed the car faster than I ever had before. The voice didn't speak again. But I felt it. Sitting behind me. Watching. We reached my sister's place in record time. I pulled into the driveway, jumped out, and opened the back door of the car. Nothing. My sister stood frozen beside me. "You can't go back alone," she said. "Stay here tonight." I agreed without hesitation. I didn't sleep. The next morning, I drove home in daylight. Everything felt normal again. Too normal. Weeks passed. Then one night, as I was getting ready for bed, my phone buzzed. A text from my sister. "Thanks again for picking me up that night. I don't know what I would have done." I stared at the message. My fingers trembled as I typed back. "Of course. I'm just glad you called me." Her reply came almost instantly. "I didn't call you." My heart started pounding. I checked my call history. There it was. An incoming call from her number. Timestamped just after midnight. I haven't driven Route 17 since. And sometimes, late at night, when I'm alone in my car, I hear a voice from the back seat. quiet, patient, saying my name.